patrons, I don't normally do this, but I thought in light of St. Patrick's Day and in light of the fact that most of you parents are educating at home right now, I would read one of my favorite books that I enjoy reading to my classroom. Patrick, Patron Saint of Ireland. Many years ago, during the time of the Christian Roman Empire, there lived a boy named Patrick. He lived with his noble family in Britain near the Irish Sea. One night, fierce Irishmen from the island across the water came in their boats and raided the farms on the British mainland. They captured many people, Patrick among them. They took him back to Ireland and sold him as a slave to a man named Moliach. "Now that I own you," said Moliach, "I will take you to Mount Slamesh, where you shall watch my sheep." For 6 years in the strange and pagan land, Patrick, who was used to warm clothes, good food, and a nice house, was a shepherd, and he was very lonely. All he could do was pray to God over and over and over again, 100 times during the day, 100 times during the night, and he felt the love of God in his heart. It's a cute sheep right there. Patrick's prayers did not go unanswered. During his sleep, a voice came to him. "It is a good thing that you fast and pray, for soon you will go to your own country. See, your ship is ready." The ship was more than 200 miles away, but that didn't stop Patrick. Believing in the strength of God, Patrick went on his way, fearing nothing. Now the ship was filled with hunting hounds that were being taken to France to be sold to rich people. When the hounds saw Patrick, they stopped barking and began to wag their tails. Patrick offered to pay for his passage, but the captain worried that he might be an escaped slave and said, "I cannot take you with us. Get off my ship." So Patrick left. He began to pray that the captain would change his mind. The hounds started to howl. "Those hounds were fine when that fellow was here," said one of the men, "but now they're making so much noise they'll raise the dead." "Run and get him," said the captain, "or else we'll have no peace on our journey." Patrick's prayers were answered. He was allowed to board the ship, and it set sail. After 3 days, the ship landed. The countryside was deserted because there had been a war. For 28 days, the men and the hounds traveled through the desolate land, finally overcome with hunger. "Tell me, Christian," the captain said, "you say that your God is great and all-powerful. Why don't you pray for us then? Can't you see how hungry we are?" "Nothing is impossible for my God," Patrick answered. "This day he will send food to us." Suddenly, a herd of pigs appeared on the road in front of them, oinking and squealing. The men caught and killed them. For 2 days, everyone, including the dogs, had plenty to eat, and they did not go hungry again. Soon Patrick left the little group and traveled alone for 2 years. When he finally arrived back home in Britain, his family rejoiced and begged him never to leave home again. So, cute dog. I like the animals in this. Once more, Patrick had a dream. This time, a man named Victoricus appeared to him. Victoricus had come from Ireland with an armload of letters. He gave one of them to Patrick. It read, "The Voice of the Irish." Then Patrick heard voices calling from the woods, "Come and walk with us again." Patrick woke up. He wasn't sure what the dream meant. A few nights later, Patrick heard more voices calling to him, and then he knew what he must do. He must return to Ireland and take the people the good news of God. Although it was hard to part with his family, Patrick left home to study and become a missionary. Finally, he was ready to sail for Ireland and take the word of God to the Irish people. He sold his worldly goods, bought all he needed for his work, and hired a boat. A huge crowd went along to help him: priests, bakers, chariot drivers, all kinds of people. Patrick was now a bishop, and the work that God had planned for him was about to begin. Shortly after the ship landed in Ireland, Patrick met a chieftain who was a good and kind man. The chieftain's name was Daishu, and he listened to Patrick talk of his love of God. He believed everything that Patrick told him and asked Patrick to baptize him into the new faith. Daishu gave Patrick the barn that became the first church in Ireland. But not everything that happened to Patrick was so easy. Patrick's chariot driver, Audren, overheard that a king planned to kill Patrick. Audren wanted to protect his master. "Bishop Patrick," he said, "would you be so kind as to drive the chariot today? I am very tired." So Patrick agreed. As they were driving, the king threw his spear and killed Audren, thinking he was the bishop. Patrick escaped, but he was sad knowing that his friend Audren had given up his life to protect him. Patrick faced many other dangers too. In fact, he came close to losing his life 12 times. But that didn't stop him. Through the years, he traveled many, many miles and baptized thousands of people. On March 17th, 461, Patrick died. Patrick's love of God had been so great that shortly after his death, churches were built all over the land, and Patrick was made a saint. Young men and women became monks and priests and nuns. They served the people of Ireland in the churches, monasteries, and schools. They traveled to other lands preaching the love of God, just as Patrick had done when he came to the Emerald Isle. And even to this day, the Irish love their patron saint, Patrick. And that is why we celebrate St. Patrick's Day. So I hope you enjoy your St. Patrick's Day.